All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another fucking week of the rest of your life in cryptocurrency markets. Hope you guys are surviving. But yeah, happy Monday. What a wild and memorable month January was. And we started February with a banger already, right? Complete capitulation over the weekends, the likes that we haven't seen in a minute. Like coins like PEPE down like 40-50% in like 48 hours, right? We haven't seen that kind of stuff in a minute. Normally when we get these big kind of pukes, they happen maybe once per quarter. So I would be really happy if that was our quarterly big capitulation moment. And we can kind of go back to just, trading the upside. Not meaning that altcoins have to V-shape recover or anything like that, but getting back into repositioning from a spot perspective, repositioning from a high time frame perspective, having really clear-cut invalidations on high time frame, and let the market do the heavy lifting. The higher and higher and higher we go, the harder and harder and harder it is to maintain maximum exposure to markets and maintain drawdown risk. But then when things reset, you're given that opportunity to just run it the fuck back once again. But yeah, man. Oops, leaking some low time frame stuff there. I just finished recording a video for Paragon on low time frame trading. A little bit about me. I think some of you guys know this in the public stuff, but I have mainly swapped over to like intraday trading. Something that I worked on a lot last summer in that fucking range, 8-9 month range of hell, and something that I swapped to when we lost the daily trend. Right around here is when I was like, all right, I'm going back to low time frame stuff. Very, very rarely you're seeing me trading anything with a hold time longer than a day over the last, like, pretty much, was it 2 months? Nah, 6 weeks. But anyways, get caught up with chat. Good morning, everyone. Seeing some new faces in here. Always love to see that. House theme song. Yes, absolutely. Hey, Doc, why do you always have a Santa hat on your avatar? It's a thing that we do on CT or Crypto Twitter that, people put Santa hats on their PFP. I did this in 2022 or something like that, and I just never took it off. It's that simple. I put it in. I had my old avatar. You guys don't even remember this, 99% of you, but I used to have a different Doc avatar, and that dude was bald. So when I put the Santa hat on him, you can't see the bald head anymore, and I just left it on there. So then when I made a new PFP, I just left the Santa hat on. So it's been on there for a couple years now. Morning from my grave. You'll be alright, man. Always another trade. I thought the yen carry trade in August was the COVID dump. What the fuck? Well, first of all, nothing is the COVID dump. I know you're saying that just kind of like tongue in cheek. Like that was the big boy one. But none of these are the COVID dump, man. Something you guys need to understand. I didn't trade the COVID dump. I wasn't around for that. I actually entered as a participant and trader a few weeks after the COVID dump. That was like the first time I got involved with markets. I was like, everything got obliterated. I should probably buy some stocks. But just hearing firsthand accounts from people, man, the industry literally went to zero that day. Like Arthur Hayes saved the industry. He pulled the plug on BitMEX and stopped trading. Otherwise, Bitcoin was literally on its way to zero. So something you guys need to be aware of is like when people compare the stuff to the COVID crash, like none of these are the COVID crash, man. COVID shit went down like 70% in a day. Santa Hat Doc was the Pico bottom. It literally was. I put it on right around like a week or two after FTX or whatever. FTX was like start of November, so like 2-3 weeks after FTX, the start of December. Good morning to everyone who ignored the signs and didn't sell everything when Melania popped. Bro, the Melania thing was my eject button. That weekend, what happened, right? The Trump coin dropped. It was just going parabolic. The entire industry was bleeding out. Like everything was just bleeding out when Trump dropped. And over the next 24 hours, things stabilized and started like bouncing back up, and we're getting recovery. And then we got the headline of Melania. And I think anyone that was willing to do this was just like, oh, I saw this happen fucking 24 hours ago. Why am I going to deal with this again? And just hit the eject button. And I sold a fuck ton of positions in that moment. I was just like, I'm out, I'm good. And at the same time, Solana was going to all-time highs. And I was like, I've been holding this position for like 8 months from 120. I'm out here too, you know? Compounded a little bit, but that's neither here nor there. Is it possible to purchase the spaghetti chart as a separate one off purchase? I think so. Follow Bitcoin Charlie. So I think he has it available for free. BTC_Charlie. If you guys don't know Charlie, you need to be following him anyways. One of the best traders in the industry. My partner at Paragon too. This template is his spaghetti template. And I think it's available for free. I mean, I got it before I even joined Paragon. It was just like on his Telegram or something. So you can get this like for free. I think he has a link somewhere. You're gonna have to ask him or find it. Okay, so before I continue with chat, let's talk about Bitcoin, where we are, what happened over the last week or so. So let's find Monday of last week. That was the last stream. Where were we? Somewhere in here. So I think we just dumped, right? So this was the plan last week. We were right here, and I made the plans. Must hold 100K. If we hold and accept under 100K, do nothing. Don't be a fucking hero. Don't knife catch. Don't do anything. Literally do nothing. And then be bullish at the daily 100 weekly trend, range low confluence. Weekly trend, range low, be bullish. Don't be a bitch, right? That was the plan last week, right? And it took a little while for this to play out. But we just, that's the importance of having these key high time frame plans, is just know what to do when price goes to X location. And I must have tweeted this chart 4 or 5 times and updated it and everything. So I think everyone that follows me should have been on the same page of what the plan was going into the week, what the plan was when we lost this. You had so many triggers to like de-risk. Yeah, you want to bet on daily trend holding. Yeah, you want to bet on 100K holding. When the market's giving you signals that it's not holding, you don't want to be the hero that's trying to knife catch. If you want to knife catch, you do it in locations that are plus EV. And that's pretty much what I did yesterday. Just bet at the daily trend, bet at the confluence of the daily trend, range low, 92K, play the mean reversion step by step. So where we are now, we've basically bridged that gap down and bridged it all the way back up. Very swift move down, very big move back up. Where are we trading? Confluence. 4-hourly downtrend. 4-hour trend has been a monster trend for us for a very long time. Now, what we don't want to see is us go back into our, last summer regime of 4-hour trend is just our bully, right? Look at all these massive 4-hour trends that we had. Like, even when we capitulated here in June, we bounced up into the 4-hour trend and then continued kind of just crabbing around, right? Reject off the daily, nuke again, right? Look at this massive 4-hour downtrend, right? So we want to respect the trends when there's a big confluence of price action. So we have our 100K level, right? That was resistance the first time around, resistance here, deviation, resistance, support, right? Massive level, psychological level as well. 4-hour downtrend, daily trend just above. We lost the respect for the daily trend. We're trading into this region. Is this the place where you should be after not actioning here, after being too scared to action here last night and calling for 40K and 50K and market cycle top and it's over? Should you be longing right here? Probably not. End of story. Probably not, right? So once again, like, if you caught this trade, GG, right? If you had the plan, the game plan, and the balls to execute, GG. But this is a place where you take a step back once again and do nothing, right? Markets are all about that. You make heavy game plans, you make strong plus EV game plans, you have the courage to execute at those moments, you take your profits, and then you do fucking nothing, right? Do nothing. And a lot of people it's very hard for them to do nothing. They need to be in a trade. They need to have exposure. I'm going to be missing this. I'm doing this. This is going to go here. Just overburdened with emotions. So we're back in that kind of do nothing moment. Back to chat. Wait, how did Arthur save BTC from death? So I wasn't around for this. So you guys gotta, maybe you should ask Magus and Charlie to tell you this story, or literally anyone else that was in the market for this moment. But this is how it goes. I've heard this story maybe 50 times from different people. But when this nuke happened, let's get more price history. When this happened, Bitcoin was down what? 60% in like a couple days, right? And this day specifically, 41% in a day. So if you guys think that you've seen pain, Bitcoin's dropping 10%. Imagine it dropping 41%, and then, then you have the right to complain about pain. And then 41% the very next day, another 35, right? So absolute devastation. The story goes that there was no, the order book was empty, right? BitMEX was like the Binance back then. Binance didn't have the flows. It was all BitMEX, right? And the order book was literally empty. I think there was, 100 Bitcoin left, and it was just empty. There was just nothing left in the book whatsoever. And they were just dumping and dumping and dumping and dumping and dumping and dumping. Everyone was selling. Everyone was capitulating. It was literally going to zero. And BitMEX, I believe, basically said something was wrong with their trading engine. I don't remember what the story was, but basically pulled the plug on trading. They're like, oh, we have to stop trading because there's an error or something like that. And they basically pulled the plug on trading for like 4 hours. Market calmed down. People had time to think. And then when they turned it back on, the books refilled. So he basically stopped Bitcoin from going to zero because there was nothing left in the book, right? It literally would have wicked to zero. So yeah, that's how the story goes. But definitely don't take it from me. Ask someone that was around. Ask Magus next time he streams to tell you the Arthur Mays BitMEX story. And I'm sure he'll be happy to tell you it because I think he traded it. He was in this. He was exposed to this, right? So ask him how he felt here and how he feels here. And if it's anything close to the same. And I guarantee you he'll laugh in your face and be like, bro, you guys have no idea. Can you talk about your current positioning? I basically am heavy fucking stables. I've been stabling up for a long time. I took heavy profits in December. So my total capital in crypto is like 30% or 40% of what it was 2 months ago. So in December, I was moving. I got a new house. I moved across the country. I'm kind of starting a new life, and just paid myself heavily. I took money out for tax purposes. I just set it aside. I'm like, I'm not going to touch this or trade with this. So I just put it on the side. I sold my Solana position at 220 at the bearish rejection of the daily trend. Right? It was this one right here. Right? We just kept rejecting. I've talked about this on the public stream many, many times. Closed Solana there, rebought it a little bit later, closed a lot of PEPE. And yeah, I just kind of sat pretty like nifty, not really heavily exposed to the market, regained some exposure to Solana, Ethereum, PEPE again at the lows. When PEPE dropped to 15 cents, I rebought some there, but my overall size and capital in crypto is a lot less. I've been kind of running it up and compounding for 2 years. And every time I withdraw to the bank, it's always just like, it's like just enough, right? I'm just like doing the responsible thing of taking out enough, giving myself another couple years runway, making sure I have enough money in the bank, all expenses and all everything like that covered. And then a couple on top just to like be like, okay, I'm extracting value from the markets. But that one was like the big one. Obviously like 2024 taxes the tax bill is going to be insane. And I didn't want to be one of those guys that's like has a bunch of realized gains for 2024 and continues trading with them and then just takes a massive hit in January and February like what just happened, and owe more taxes than I actually have, right? I didn't want that to happen. I've heard those horror stories a billion times. So yeah, I mean, my only exposure right now is spot ETH. I'm not going to LARP and lie to you guys. I had spot ETH from 3,200 average, and didn't ever hit the eject button on this. I hit the eject button on literally every other position and closed everything in profit, and anything that was getting invalidated got closed. Like PEPE, I rebought this wick, the first tag of the weekly trend. I literally got in at the wick because it was the confluence of the point of breakdown from the last all-time high push with the weekly trend, right? So that was what I planned on buying after we lost the daily. Bought in here, only sold a little bit. Like I did not sell heavy because like I said, I took so much out in December. And I was like, this is going to be my risk exposure. And then when we started losing 15, that's my invalidation. So I cut PEPE. Same thing with literally every other decision that I made. But the Ethereum, I kind of just held it. I was like, it's an ETH, and I made that mistake again, and I gave some money back. Thankfully, it's not like a massive amount of money or anything like that. But yeah, 3,200 average, and wherever it's trading right now, it's like 20% down from entry, 16% down or something like that. So 16% down on maybe 20% exposure to the market, 80% in stables. Need to write down these lessons on a poster board with a fucking Sharpie and post on bathroom mirror. Brother, I do that. So on my desk, I have my journal. Sometimes I'll have notes for myself during the week, and I'll just like rip a piece of paper out of the journal and I'll just leave it on the desk. And I have a whiteboard in my room that's on the wall, and I just write notes on the whiteboard, and it's right next to me. So like I see it all the time. It's very easy to forget what you're supposed to do when volatility hits. You may have a plan, and you have a plan, and you have a plan, and you have a plan, and the minute shit hits the fan, you do not want to execute. You just go, fuck that, I'm not doing this. And those are the moments you need to execute in, so it's good to have reminders. Good morning, Ashek. Long time no see in the public streams, brother. Happy to have you here. Do you see us dipping to range low again soon? So I'm assuming you're talking about Bitcoin. The way that I see Bitcoin, that I've seen this since here, right? Literally since the middle of December, is that we're range bound until proven otherwise. This is not a trending market. This is a range bound market. This has been my bias, that we're probably going to be in some form like this or some form like this, right? There's no risk appetite. There's no one out here that's like, I want to hold all my altcoins, and I want to hold all this, and I want to have all this risk. Because the people that have done well this market cycle are realizing their gains, they're actually extracting value away from crypto. They're taking stables to the bank, while fresh capital is coming in and locked in the ETFs. So it's not like the liquidity is not overflowing to the market. Fresh capital is coming in and buying XRP like they did in Q4 and not diversifying into the market. Fresh capital is buying the Trump coin and not just washing over the market, right? So fresh capital is being trapped. Existing capital is being removed. It doesn't feel like we have narratives to run on. It doesn't feel like hey, you need exposure to this because if Trump wins the presidency, we're going to go to Valhalla. Oh, you need exposure to the ETFs because when ETFs go live, the inflows are going to be crazy and we're going to go to Valhalla. We're devoid of that narrative right now. If Trump says that we're going to have the strategic Bitcoin reserve and he's going to be buying 1,000 Bitcoin a day, right? We're going to be like, oh, fuck, he's buying 1,000 Bitcoin a day. I need exposure to that, right? So devoid of a narrative, Bitcoin is just going to range. This is what it does. This is the meta. And it's blowing my mind that people don't see this, right? Because this is what we did. This has been this cycle. This is what we do. We range forever. We wait for a narrative, and then we go to Valhalla, right? That's what this cycle's been, right? So why would we try to be the guy that's like, I want the clout, I want to predict? Like, there's no money in clout. Why do people care about it so much? They want to be like, we're going here next week. We're doing this in this time, right? Maybe you want to shitpost about it, sure, but if this is what the market's telling you, that we range for 7 months, we find a narrative, a spark, and then we mark up, and then we range for 8 months, we find a narrative and a spark, and then we mark up. What's to say we don't do that again? What's to say that we're not going to just range for 8 months, wait for a spark and narrative, and then mark up again? Now, I'm not trying to predict this. I'm just saying this is the information that has been given to us by the market. So taking this stance shouldn't be like shocking to anyone. It's just like, hey, that's what we do, right? If you're trading a range, you're like, hey, we probably bounce from range low. If you're trading a range, hey, we probably reject from range high. So yeah, that's kind of the clues that the market's given us. So will we reject? Now your question, coming back to your question, will we reject from here? Well, it's resistance. We've bounced quite a bit. And probably the worst part of all of this is we put on all the open interest that we wiped yesterday. I was so fucking happy to see this yesterday. That's what made me take the trigger, really. Like, I was like, this is extreme. This is an absolute bloodbath. Everyone's capitulating their PERT positions. I love this, and price is coming into my area of interest. All of this is happening. But like, fuck, did we really have to put this back on in like 10 hours? Like, why did we have to do that? So anyways, people longed their longs again this morning, and they're longing it into bearish market structure on the daily, and they're longing it into the 4-hour downtrend. They're longing it into the daily downtrend after we lost it. So we'll see what happens here. I think the highest EV bet to make is just range bound till longer. You know, I'm not telling you, hey, short this and target range lows. I'm not telling you to do anything. Just action the areas that are highly actionable. For me, I'm not going to have many conviction bets. I'm simply going to be focusing on trading low time frames and mean reverting. Got my Solana filled at 177. Very nice, brother. There were bids at 0. Oh, you're talking about BitMEX. They shut down the exchange, therefore stopped the liquidation engine. Boom, there you go. See, other people are around for this. Thoughts on ETH? Could now be a good time to short ETH or SOL? Well, Bitcoin is the daddy. Whatever Bitcoin does, the kids are going to follow. Right? So I gave you my analysis on Bitcoin. For ETH, let's look at the high time frame picture here. Where are we trading now? Right? Where are we trading? We've lost the weekly. We've been rejecting off the daily. We dropped back into the bottom half of this range, and we're trading at a premium of this range. So here's the facts. This is where we're trading. So where would you be able to manage your risk the best is where you need to ask yourself. Where would you know you're wrong quickly? If you long here and price trades here, are you invalidated? What time frame are you trading? Are you trading the minute chart? Are you trading the hourly chart? Are you trading the weekly chart? What's your time frame expectation? So when you're asking, should I short ETH here? I don't have an answer for you because I need to know what you're trading, what your expectations are, how long you're planning to hold it, what your entry is, what kind of reaction you're looking for. Those are the things that matter, right? Let's take a look at 15 minutes. So where was the momentum of where was the initiation of momentum? Right here. So if I had to short ETH and I really wanted to trigger, it would be here. I don't know why it keeps going back to white. Do you think alts revisit fill the wicks from yesterday? Shit. Altcoins will. Good altcoins probably will not. FWOG update? I mean, it's down 99%. Some shit, dude. I don't know what to say about FWOG anymore. I've been saying the exact same thing now, I think, for a month. I just need to see it go sideways, and it's just going down. There's really nothing to update. I think I've been saying the same thing since like 30 cents. You know, there's been a couple moments where I've had some hopium where I'm like, okay, we might be rounding off here. Maybe if we just range here a little bit longer, we'll be good. Okay, we might be rounding off here. If we just range a little bit here, we might be good. Okay, this looks like really strong capitulation. If we just round off here, we'll be good. And it just keeps on going lower and lower and lower. As a bull, you need to see an accumulation range. You need to see things go sideways for an extended period of time to know that the downtrend is over. It's the same concept of something going up, putting in a distribution range, right? And then breaking down. You don't want to fade this signal, right? We just had this exact same thing happen on Bitcoin right here, right? Where we put in this massive range, we lost the range. You don't want to fade that. It's the exact same concept on FWOG, just in reverse. So you want to see this go sideways for an extended period of time, and then when it breaks out, you don't want to fade that. We haven't had that in this whole thing. It's literally just going down and down and down and down and down, and no one wants to hold meme coins. Yeah, man. Okay, hold on. First of all, if you're the guy on my stream that pointed out the PEPE December 9th thing, I did a stream, I think, on December 9th. I think I was live on December 9th. And some guy in chat, some Chad in chat was like, hey, man, PEPE topped December 9th last year. I think it's going to top December 9th again. And holy shit, PEPE literally topped December 9th 2 years in a row. And I think I even made a joke at that moment, just not knowing. And I was like, hey, man, if it's topped on December 9th, do nothing until February 5th. Because last year we topped on December 9th and we bottomed February 5th. And how fucking crazy is it that it almost literally happened again? Here's December 9th. Here's February 5th. Here's December 9th. Here's February 5th. Insane. Insane, insane, insane. Shout out to that guy. Do you think Bitcoin... Wait, what did you say? Any thoughts on Bitcoin dominance? No, it's in a goddamn great uptrend. I think, simply speaking, this was the most evil moment of the entire cycle. During this entire uptrend, from the start to the finish, and I talked about this in my 2024 performance review, if you're interested in thoughts on that. The game plan that I've had this entire time for 2 years is play the risk curve. Bitcoin marks up, altcoins get the opportunity to expand. When altcoins expand, take your profits, go back to stables, wait for them to reset, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. I did that for 2 years. This was the one moment where I said, okay, maybe Bitcoin dominance is finally topped, right? We put in a monthly bearish engulfing candle with high delta. We SFP'd, or not SFP'd, but basically range deviated. Massive monthly level, resistance, support, big breakdown. We're probably doing it again. If there was ever a moment in the entire cycle where I could see myself holding on to a little bit more risk and betting on more upside for altcoins, it would be this signal. We finally lost the weekly trend. We have an over and under. We have a weekly market structure break. But what happened 2 weeks later? Reclaim, retest, reclaim, right? And I think I posted this chart on CT a week ago, 2 weeks ago, something like that. And I was like, looks like Bitcoin dominance wants higher. And that's what we got. More of an altcoin flush, and Bitcoin dominance went higher. Would you de-risk after this bounce, or what are your thoughts on it? You never de-risk. Okay, so here's the thing. I say this all the time. A Paragon member phrased it this way one time during one of my streams, and I just kind of stole it from him, and I said, this is the perfect way to say this. Sell into strength or be forced to sell into weakness. Anytime you're thinking about de-risking, what does that mean? You're holding on to risk. You can be exposed to too much risk. You need to dump some of this risk. When is the most optimal time to do that? When markets do this. This is when you de-risk. Not when they do this, right? This is not like, oh fuck, everything's fucked, you know, like I should de-risk now to save myself from that. You know, it's a tough lesson to learn, but it's the most important lesson in markets. Like, you know, don't ask about de-risking after everything is down 90%. Ask yourself about de-risking when things are mooning, right? And you can't even conceive that they can go down. New bro, good morning, man. Long time. Where have you been the last year, dude? I haven't seen you in like a fucking year. Hope you're well, dude. Hope everything's going well. We miss you in the clinic. Good morning, Nick. Why'd you choose not to buy anything in spot despite the bit liquidation event after de-risking higher, even when expecting some daily bearish bounces like now? I mean, I traded it. My plan going into this was long Bitcoin. It wasn't, I need this exposure to spot, I need this exposure to this, I need this exposure to that. I've done that. I've been doing that for 2 years, right? And oftentimes I just position early. Like, you know, here's the thing. When I buy spot, I don't buy, so let me use Solana as an example. When I buy spot, which I did here, right? I'm not going, okay, I'm going to sell my spot here. I'm going to buy it back here. I'm going to sell my spot here. I'm going to buy it back here. I'm going to sell my spot here. I'm like, no, I'm going to hold this until it does something like that. And then I'm going to sell my spot. Or if it breaks down, right? Or if it like, you know, fails, invalid. That's the trade I'm taking on spot. And I've done this several times where I just buy the capitulation and then just, you know, fuck, it's just doing nothing for a long time. So I said, if I want to extract value on this bounce, I'm going to extract value on this bounce. And I'm going to do that by fucking longing Bitcoin. And that's exactly what I did. So my plan going into today, my plan going into this week was execute on Bitcoin down here, which is what I did. Another thing people don't understand is size, right? Size is size, right? Meaning, if I want to put 10% of my capital into spot PEPE, right? And PEPE goes up, right? But I don't want to sell it. I just want to hold it. I want to accumulate PEPE and I want to get like 30% of PEPE and then I want to sell into the next parabola. But I want to try to extract value from this bounce to this bounce. How much capital am I willing to put in that matches whatever my intentions were for buying spot Solana, buying spot PEPE, buying spot ONDO, buying spot whatever? If my intention was I want $100,000 of exposure to this market at these lows, how do I get that exposure? Can I get that exposure through altcoins, through levered Bitcoin, through what? You can get it in multiple different ways, right? And if my expectation is if I buy $100,000 of PEPE and it bounces 20% and I want to take profits on that, let's say even more, 30%, right? And I want to take profits on the 30% bounce. I'm looking for a $30,000 reward. And I'm saying, okay, if I'm wrong, I'm willing to take a $10,000 loss, right? That 3-to-1 risk to reward, profit to loss, you can apply that in the market any which way you want. You don't have to do it in one specific way, right? If you're looking for that trade, you're basically looking across the market like, how do I get that trade in the way that I want that trade? I don't need to get that trade by however else everyone else thinks. I'm just looking to do it the way that I think is the best way to extract that value. Depends on the coin. Hawkers is asking if we're in the do nothing zone, close to range highs, would you sell spot now if we're already positioned, hoping for range? Like, okay, here's an example. Let's say Solana is your coin. Do you want to sell Solana here? Like, is this the point to sell Solana into the weekly trend, into weekly demand, into local range lows? Is this the de-risk zone for Solana? Or is this the de-risk zone for Solana? Is this the bid zone or is this the sell zone, right? That's what you need to be thinking about. Wiz, that's fantastic. If SBR gets implemented and Trump buys 1,000 Bitcoin a day, CT will buy Popcat. Amazing. Is your open interest setting in coin or USD? It's in USD. Some people use coin, some people use USD. I find it valuable to use USD. You can use coin if you want. How come you know trending stopped and market started to range? How you know that? Break in market structure, loss of low time frame trends. What's happening for the entire fourth quarter last year? What's happening for the entire fucking fourth quarter? We're marking up on the daily trend, on the daily trend, on the daily trend, on the daily trend. What happened up here? Where's our market structure? Daily higher low, daily higher low, daily trends holding, daily higher low, daily higher lows, daily higher lows. What happened here? Daily lower low, daily trend lost. Respect for daily trend lost. If the trend is no longer trending, what's going to happen? Either a range is going to form or you're going to drop to the next most respected trend. What's the next most respected trend? The weekly trend. Where do you want to be bullish? Range lows. Where's the weekly trend confluence? Down here. How do I know where to action? Right? If the daily trend is lost, we're probably going to come down to the weekly. If the daily trend is now flattening out and not trending and the market's not respecting as a trend, it's a range. Can you cover low time frame trading? I have a video that I just recorded today for Paragon. If you're interested, you can check that out. Just recorded it. Brand new educational video. What was your low time frame entry trigger? We puked like 500 million of open interest, I think, in like one candle. Is it 500 million or 100 million? We puked massive amount. Okay, so first of all, what's my level? Right, my level's range low and the daily 100. Right, so I already know where I want to execute on high time frame. All I want to see on low time frame is liquidations come in. If I see liquidations coming in and massive pukes and all of this open interest just fucking falling off a cliff, of course I want to take advantage of that. When everyone is capitulating into my entry level, I want to take that entry. Bought Radium on the weekly trend after cutting it on losing daily this weekend. Could have cut on the 4-hour trend loss, but daily was quite close and was the dominating trend. Was that the valid choice? Good. Well, you know, let's do it. Ray. Yeah. So I don't even see the full chart yet, but I can already tell you the 4-hour trend's not really trending. So here's a 4-hour uptrend. This is a 4-hour uptrend. This is not a 4-hour uptrend. Right? This is just whatever. Price is going above it, below it, above it, below it. This is not valuable, right? So what's after the 4-hour trends loss? What's the next most valuable is the daily, right? We even have price action confluence. Here's your range high. So let's get rid of all these. There's your range high. There's your daily trend. That's your invalidation. Here's your range low, locally speaking. Here's your high time frame range high. You don't want to drop back in that range. There's your daily trend. Yeah, that's it. Where did you get the bounce from? Range low, confluence of the weekly. Feel really bad for the people that got smoked. I mean, we've all been there. Every single one of us has been smoked at some point or another. I got smoked here. It's not Bitcoin. I'll never forget this moment. This is what it's not the official start of my journey, but it is like my headcanon start of my journey. I got smoked here. I mean, I got smoked here too, but I got more smoked here with more size. Right? And I sold the Christmas rally for an L, right? I didn't close the bottom this week, but I closed for an L. And I'll never forget this because I had the most confidence I've ever had in my life on continuation. It's so much confidence that we're going to go a leg higher. I got smoked, and I had to learn the hard way, right? And each subsequent event since then has just been a learning moment for me. And this is a learning moment for a lot of people if they allow it to be. A lot of people won't allow it to be, but the few that will are going to probably excel from here, or at least put themselves on the right path to excel from here. I'm thinking about that post you made on Twitter about a month ago advising not to chase narratives that are outperforming because then you'll miss the narrative, your narrative's turn to perform. But then how do you decide when you should swap narratives, and particularly giving up on a large cap meme? So if you have something that's like highly valuable and highly important that you're like, you know, Hyperliquid is dropping and I want exposure to Hyperliquid, and you buy Hyperliquid, you're basically looking for your thesis to be complete on some avenue, right? Whether your thesis is, hey, it's an L1 or it's going to be an L1, it should be valued like L1s, right? And it's underperforming on the week, and that week something else is outperforming, but Hyperliquid still looks good. It's still in market structure. It's still holding trends. It's still fine. It's just underperforming that week. You don't want to give up on your high time frame thesis to chase whatever's happening that week. That's what I meant by that that tweet, right? If obviously your coin gets invalidated by any point, like I'll give you one of mine, right? Grass, something that I had high conviction in, that I had to close right here on this daily trend loss, right? I was like looking at this and I was going, look, it's underperforming. Like I had a banger. This is my literal entry at like 65 cents. I had a banger. I sold into this because I knew going up 5x in a week, it's going to retrace. I rebought it too. And then I'm basically just holding this. And I'm saying, look, it's underperforming. Other coins are doing better. I still have a high time frame thesis. I still have a fundamental thesis. My thesis has not been completed. I'm not going to chase narratives. I'm going to keep this capital in grass. But eventually, when the market's telling me, look, it's had every fucking opportunity to expand, and I've been holding this for 2 months, and it's had every opportunity to outperform, it's had every opportunity to mark up, and even when it's holding the listing anchored VWAP again and again and again, I go, look, this looks weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker. And I G'd this on the Melania day. Like I told you, like I fucking hit the eject button on the industry that day. This is the Melania time. It's like right in here somewhere. And I was like, I'm out. Like it's had every moment, and now the market's weak, and the weak coins are going to get hit harder than anything else. And even if you didn't hit the eject button on Melania, you still had a really strong invalidation right here at the listing, right? So listings held since open. It's held here, it held here, it held here, here, here. If you're losing the listing, why would you fade that? So at a certain point, even though your thesis has not been invalidated, your trade has obviously been invalidated, right? Your trade idea has been invalidated. Told you the simulation is real. Zach, are you the person that told me about the PEPE December 9th thing? Okay, I'm gonna have to scroll past some stuff because I just realized how bad I am on chat, or how behind I am. Okay, so let's talk about alts now, because I think this is gonna be the next question. I've covered this a million times on Twitter, but probably a lot of new followers. So here's the situation. Alts do this. They range, they start developing new market structure, they start holding high time frame trends, they get a little bit more exciting, liquidations come in, and you get like big shakeouts, and then you get parabola. And when you get parabola, the first thing that's gonna happen, you're gonna lose your 4-hour trend, right? Then you're gonna drop to the daily, right? And then you're gonna hold the daily trend. Right? And you're going to probably crab around, and then you're going to lose the daily trend, and then you're going to wipe out to the weekly, right? And then the weekly trend may hold, but you're not able to make new highs, right? And then you lose the weekly, and then it resets, and then you get your capitulation. When you get your capitulation, you need to range. This weekly trend needs to come down. The daily trend needs to come down. You need to range in here. You need to build new, fresh, bullish market structure, make higher highs and higher lows. The weekly trends come up. You come out of your range, you start holding your daily trend as support, then you get a new market cycle. This is what your expectation should be for altcoins from this period. If your altcoin has done this and lost the weekly trend and absolutely capitulated, yes, it's going to bounce crazy. But that bounce will probably get canned, and it'll probably come back down. It'll probably form an accumulation range. Trends need to come down. Trends need to be flipped. New market structure needs to be built. New higher highs and higher lows need to be built. New trends need to be formed. New trends need to be held as support so that you can get your next parabolic leg. That is the gist of all altcoins at this moment, in my opinion, that have lost their weekly trends. Certain altcoins have not lost their weekly trends, but a lot of them have. And the ones that have lost their weekly trend, they're in for some accumulation ranges. Yes, size matters. Pepe versus Pepe coin? Fuck Pepe coin. Fuck that scam. Why do all the few cultured millennials listen to Chromatic's good taste in music, I suppose? I thought something was wrong when Doge didn't pump on government website and ETF news launched last month, and there we have it. Yeah, man, usually good news that doesn't break you up is pretty bearish, right? A lot of people on CT over the past few weeks have been pointing this out. This hasn't been news to anyone. Like, people have been pointing out for weeks, like, hey, Bitcoin's stuck at range high, and it's not really breaking out, and we just keep getting good news and good news and good news. So that was a moment where a lot of people faded the market and go like, yeah, fuck this. If we're not breaking out on good news, it's over. God damn, there's a lot of people asking about FARTCOIN. I gave you guys my thoughts on FARTCOIN last week. Did we already forget? I marked out the range for you guys, and I said 55. So if you wanted FARTCOIN, you had your level. That's it. That's your FARTCOIN thoughts. It's gonna need to range, right? Look at since FARTCOIN's first, like, since its token generation or whatever, it's never crossed bearishly on the daily. It's crossing bearish on the daily. It's never broken, or it's never kind of like, I guess it has. I take that back, but it's never crossed bearishly on the daily, right? So from here, it's just going to need to go sideways a bit. It's going to need to reaccumulate. It's going to need to flip this trend back to support. It's going to need to set fresh bullish market structure. This needs to come down. This will probably get bonked, so come down. We're going to flip it upwards. Might get rejected at range high. Might come back down, right? Eventually, this is going to start going up. You're going to start holding this as support. You hold outside of $1.30. Maybe you can mark up again. You drop below range lows, you start using this as resistance, you reject some trends, it's gonna go a lot lower. Right now it's just in a range, right? So range low is 55 cents, and we covered FARTCOIN last week. A pro tip for some of you guys. If you come to my streams weekly, right, and you watch last week, and you ask me about FARTCOIN last week, and I give you my thoughts on, hey, this is range low, and this is 55, and yada yada. And range low comes and 55 comes, and you don't execute because you're scared, right? And then you come back and you're looking for me to tell you, hey, it's bounced to 80 cents. You should buy, right? Or you didn't execute at 55. You should, like, that's not going to make it attitude. You know, you need to have the courage to take these trades when they set up in the locations. If you want them, if you want this coin at this price, then execute in the face of fear and have an invalidation. Like, okay, 55 is lost and we're trading below it, and we, you know, accepting below it, and we're still whatever. Okay, I'm wrong, but the risk that I took was calculated, right? If I said, hey, I'm going to put $100 here and I'm willing to lose like 10 or whatever, 15 if we trade below, okay, I'm wrong, right? Or, hey, look, we're holding here and we're holding here, we're holding here. At the same time, wow, is Bitcoin holding exactly where it's supposed to hold too? So Bitcoin's at support. Bitcoin may bounce. FARTCOIN's at support. FARTCOIN may bounce, right? So just execute on these ideas when they're given. If you wanted this coin, the market gave you the opportunity to buy it. I don't know what's happening to my screen. Holy crap, sorry. When was the last time you got liquidated? Okay, so you're going to have to be more specific, Timothy. What does liquidated mean to you? Does that mean like you had a trade? So liquidated can mean like 50 things. Liquidated can mean I used my spot Bitcoin, right? I had 60% of my capital in spot Bitcoin, right? And I used my Bitcoin as collateral to lever up on Dogecoin. And then Dogecoin nuked and went underneath my maintenance margin level. And it took all of my Bitcoin and I've just lost all my money. I lost all my spot. I lost all my perps. I lost everything, right? That's one form of liquidated. Another form of liquidated is you have your perp portfolio, which is a small portion of your spot portfolio, right? And you put in small portion into your perp account, right? And you use cross margin and you don't have a stop loss. And when, you know, one position goes underwater, it just keeps taking capital and capital and capital and capital and capital from the rest of your perp portfolio, and it liquidates your entire perp account. Another liquidated is, hey, I had, what do you call it? Not cross margin, what's the other one called? Isolated margin, right? I had an isolated margin position and I put $20,000 into this isolated margin position, and I have like a $200,000 perp account, and I'm only putting 10% into this one Bitcoin trade. And, you know, if it goes down 10%, this position only will get liquidated, right? That's also a form of liquidated. So when people say you got liquidated, what does that mean, right? So the first example where you get liquidated in your entire account, that's never happened to me. The second position where you've got liquidated in your entire perp account, that's never happened to me. The third one where I have a position and I'm like, look, I'm longing with a stop loss, right? Like I'm longing this breakout, right? For example, and this is my stop loss, right? And I'm on isolated margin and the stop loss is 5% away from current price, and I can either put a 5% stop loss, or I'm longing on 20x, and this position on isolated margin will just auto close. Like it'll auto get liquidated, it'll auto close. But that was the risk I wanted to take anyways. Doesn't matter if I put a stop loss there or isolated margin 20x there. 5% drawdown is my stop loss, 5% drawdown is liquidation. This is how I get liquidated, right? Quote unquote liquidated, which just essentially means I got stopped on a trade. I have never been liquidated. I'm not a degenerate that's levering up my entire fucking net worth into perp accounts by, you know, collateralizing my spot. What was your biggest lesson from that when you got smoked in 2021? I learned that basically I was overestimating my skill set. I didn't actually know what I thought I knew. I was trading in absolutes. I had no idea where I was wrong. I took unnecessary drawdown. I didn't have a system in place to manage risk. I didn't actually know what I thought I knew. And other people, many people that I was following called top here. Many people called top, and I faded them. And I was like, no, they're wrong. They're stupid. We're going higher, right? Then I went to them and I said, how did they figure out that this was a top? What did they see? What were they talking about? What were they thinking? And I started watching their streams. Trader XO, Trader Magus, Bitcoin Charlie, all these guys called top. And I was like, okay, let me go learn from them. Let me see and let me figure out how they called top, right? And instead of thinking I'm the alpha male in the market, I'm going to start thinking I'm the student. And all I am here to do is learn. And all I'm going to do is learn. And I don't even care about hitting the make it trade. And I'm not going to go out here and think that the next trade is going to make me a bajillionaire and $1 bajillion and I'm going to retire myself and this is my make it trade. I'm going to learn a skill set. And I'm going to say that it doesn't matter if the market's going up, down, or sideways. I'm going to figure out a way to extract value from this market. So if it's going to go down forever to zero, that's fine. How do I make money? If it's going to go sideways forever, how do I make money? Okay, it's going to go up. Easy mode. I can make easier money, right? That was my entire shift in mindset from here was I know nothing. I need to learn everything, and let's fucking go. Let's learn everything. Let's build a clean slate. Let's start actually trading. Let's learn some skill sets. Let's learn how to manage risk. And this was my starting point, basically, as like mentally as a trader. Before then, I was a participant. And you know, the funny part is I left this cycle with profit. I actually left with a good amount because I got lucky. Essentially, I allocated a Bitcoin and Ethereum down here on Thanksgiving. And that Bitcoin and Ethereum was still up in this location by a lot. So when I exited, I still like walked away with profit. I just gave a lot back. Okay, caught up with chat. Give me 1 second. I'll grab a sip of water. we're back. All right, let's take a look across the market. Let's take a quick scan on how things look. We're pumping again. I want to take a look at low time frame Bitcoin. Basically, if you're a bear here or you want to like short or whatever, you want to just basically see this again. Trade into this region, fail to hold, roll over, open interest still mooning, spot selling, you know, break in market structure, right? That's pretty much what you want to see. You just want to see this like if you're bearish, right, for whatever reason. It doesn't even have to be that extreme. It could just be like this. If you're bullish, there's a lot of work to do, man. You basically need to like trade all the way up into this region and kind of like flip this back into support. You think we should sweep Monday's low again? So you're talking about this? I mean, at this point, I don't think Bitcoin's gonna one candle do that, like on a Tuesday, right? I think there's certain times where you do play Monday's range, right? Low volatility, not much conviction on either side. You set a high on Monday, you set a low on Monday. Tuesday opens and you're kind of just trading in here, right? If you run Monday's high or run Monday's low, those are mean reversion trades, right? I think those are good setups for like a low volatility market with not much going on. A market like this, I don't think you think about Bitcoin that way of like, this is my Monday's range and by Tuesday we're going to run this low and by Wednesday we're going to run the high. I think that's just too much wide volatility for that to happen. Joining late, quick question though. In Paragon, did you announce when you stabled up in your theory for why? Yeah. So how do I even... Hold on. So yeah, these are my channels in here. And this channel is where I cover everything that I do in my spot portfolio day to day. Every move I make goes in there. How did you manage as a beginner to understand that you needed to get the fuck out at the end of 2021? Did you already have a clear invalidation at that point? No, I basically just like mentally, like, here's the thing. This is me, right? I didn't know the market cycle had topped, right? I thought we were going much higher, but like people that are considered respected in the industry were calling top. Like Kobe called top, Hasaka, I don't know if Hasaka, Light Crypto called top. Pentoshi was calling top. Who else, man? EXO called top. SC called top, right? A bunch of people that were really good traders called top, right? And I would just faded them. And I was like, they're fucking wrong. And we dropped down to here. And I was like, holy shit. They're probably fucking right. So we got a little bit of relief into like Christmas. It was like a little mini, you know, baby back bitch Christmas rally. And I basically was like, all right, I'm out. Fuck this. I'm taking whatever I can and I'm just leaving. I think Ethereum looked a little bit better. I had more chips in Ethereum because the reason I had more Ethereum last cycle was I did this dumb thing where, well, it wasn't, I guess it was clever, but it's very low IQ. Bitcoin had already marked up to like 40, 50K or something like that. And Ethereum was still trading like down here at like 1100, 1200, whatever. And I was just thinking to myself, hey, Bitcoin went to all-time high and did a 2x. Ethereum's not even at all-time high. It'll probably break all-time high and do a 2x. So I just kept buying more Ethereum like in this location. And then when that Christmas rally, it was like somewhere in here or something like that. And I was like, okay, everything's probably I don't even remember where was Christmas rally. It was something in here. And I basically just hit the eject button. So it wasn't like I wasn't wise enough to know that the top was in at all. I just sold because I was like, okay, you know, people are calling top. So it wasn't even like a good decision. It was just like I was relying on other people. I was like, oh, they were right? So I did like the newbie thing. I wasn't really thinking for myself. And that was the moment where I flipped everything on. And I remember at this moment, like studying the market. I made like a schedule, right? I was coming out of med school and I was basically like disciplined with a study ethic, and I was like waking up in the morning, I would watch videos, I would watch like the ICT 2022 mentorship, which started a couple months later. I watched the Crypto Cred YouTube series, I watched Trader XO streams, and I didn't just watch his like live streams, he had a whole category of streams, so I just went back and watched all of his streams. Every day I would watch a new stream and study it and understand what he was trying to say. And that was where I started building my entire framework. First thing I did was start off with ranges, then I started trading price action like ICT style. So just started adding and adding and adding. But I didn't really know that the cycle was topped or anything like that. One second. I'm gonna check trading terminal here quickly. Chat. I've been obnoxious about hype for some time. Do you start to see light after yesterday's move? So I've been trading I've been trading hype. I finally moved. When did I move it over? It was like I remember the exact trade that I took. The first trade that I took on Hyperliquid. Is this one. So this is where I moved money over to Hyperliquid. Was right here. This is the trade the first Hyperliquid trade that I took, and I've just been trading it ever since then. I don't have like spot Hyperliquid. Wait, I might have gotten filled on a trade while this stream was going on. Not quite. I think I have bids right here. But I've been trading Hyperliquid pretty much ever since then, right? I didn't trade this chop because this is like very, just cancerous, but I've traded Hyperliquid a lot. I traded this breakout and stuff like that. I just don't have any spot Hyperliquid. But yeah, it's a staple of my day-to-day trading now. It's like one of the most traded tickers that I have. The problem I want to make it big this cycle, and I'm scared to lose 1K. I feel this cycle is a trader cycle. Need to have stow in place. Stop loss, maybe you mean. Okay, so number one, I don't think the mentality, well, here's the thing. If your mentality is, I need to make it this cycle and I have a small amount of money, you need to gamble. You need a hyper gamble. There's no other way around it. That's your option. You're going to be hyper gambling. You're going to be levering up. You're going to be taking riskier positions. You're going to be in the trenches, and you can't be scared to lose your $1,000. End of story. That's how it is. You're in the casino if you're trying to turn $1,000 into $1 million. You need to take excessive risk. So there's no room for, oh, I'm scared to lose this money. No, that's part of the process. The other thing is, you have $1,000 and you don't put a time limit on yourself, and you're just like, I'm going to make it over years, and I'm going to learn the skill set to extract value. And whether that's next year, the year after, 3 years from now, 4 years from now, I'm going to have so much skill set, and I'm going to keep amplifying my capital just by repeatedly showing competence. The first $1,000 to $10,000 may take a while, and $10,000 to $20,000 may take a while, but eventually you're going to get better and better and better, and you have more and more experience, and you'll be better at what you do, and then you'll be handed a bull market, and you won't need to take excessive risk because you'll have more capital and you'll have a skill set. That's what I did. That's what so many people I know have done, is focus on the skill set, and the P&L will follow after a time. Dude, what lucrative industry is there in the world where you can make it in a week or a month or a year. No, if you want to be a doctor, you study for a decade. If you want to be a tennis player, you play your whole life. If you want to be an NBA player, you play your whole life. Like what engineer, lawyer, any high paying job or career, you have to put the hours in. Why is trading any different? If you come in and you're like, I need to make it this cycle, go ahead, have fun. You have to hyper gamble. You have to be a gambler. So don't be like scared about losing your $1,000. This is part of it. I don't trade headlines, no. What exchanges I use? Bybit, Blowfin, a lot of them. Woo. VWAPs I learned from Magus. Moving average stuff I learned from Pierre. And when you hyper gamble, please take profit at the top. Yeah, man. The repeated lesson from my streams all the time is, I'm gonna write it again. Second time in the stream. Looking at Bitcoin, I bought today. I'm watching it, and it's heading close to the. Where'd you think to sell this? Well, I covered this already. Let's do it again. Where's range low? Where's range high? Right? Where's resistance? Where's support? If you bought support, you probably want to sell resistance. If you leave some money on the table, so be it. There's another trade, and there's going to be another trade tomorrow. There's going to be another trade the day after. There's going to be another trade the day after that. No one trade needs to be your make it trade. If you run up, 10K to 30K or whatever, maybe let's just say you run up 10K to 20K and you leave 20K on the table. Well, guess what? Next week, there's another trade for you to take. And next week, there's another trade for you to take. And next week, there's another trade for you to take. And you'll get there anyways, because you're focusing on just doing the right things and the boring things again and again and again and again. $1K risk per trade. It's the same thing. Joe, you focused on the wrong thing, man. I said a lot there and you focused on the wrong thing. You missed everything that was important that I tried to explain there, and you focused on the wrong thing. The capital doesn't matter. The idea is what matters, right? If you want to run up a small account to a big account and make it, and your goal is like, I'm going to make it in 6 months, you need to take more risk. If your idea is, I don't have a time frame, I'm just going to build a skill set and I'm going to get good at this game, P&L will follow over time. You said in a previous stream that you often close a trade if PA doesn't feel right. Which time frame do you use to monitor the trade? For example, 4-hour trade, do you use 4-hour or lower? Yeah, both. I use 4-hour and 1 hour. Out of all the technical skill sets you mentioned in the stream, what do you think a beginner trade should learn first? Market structure and price action. First things first. Ranges, market structure, price action. And those are the building blocks for everything. Just candles. You don't need a single indicator on your chart. You don't need anything on your chart. I can trade without anything. I don't need anything. I can make money with just this. It's a different system. It's different concepts. But this is the backbone for everything. You have to learn this first. Once you learn this, then you can start adding stuff like order flow, or you can add stuff like VWAPs, or you can add stuff like moving averages or whatever. But if you have no concept of price action, you have no concept of anything, in my opinion. So the first thing you do is learn price action, market structure. Hey Doc, I'm in checks from the Pico bottom. I was thinking about partial TP at 64. Should I sell the lot? Let's take a look. Apparently people have been asking me about checks. Let's actually just wipe this out and start over. I mean, you're just chopping around in a range, right? And you're exactly at mid-range. And mid-range is just fair value between 2 points, right? So this is your overextended premium. This is your overextended discount, right? And this is your fair value. Obviously, CHEX has been ranging between range low and range mid. So you basically can just say this is a range in and of itself. Here's your lows. Doesn't even matter. Here's your high. And here's your mid-range. Then we'll come to lower time frames. Let's see how this looks on lower time frame. Pretty well respected here as well. Yeah, if you're just trading the range, right, you're basically de-risking at range highs into profit. You're buying range lows. If you get an extension and you want to play trend continuation, you're looking for a candle above, a pullback, and trend continuation. This is something that I traded very recently on Hyperliquid, where there was a fake out first, right? And I didn't want to see like a perfect retest of range high, because perfect retests of breakout regions are pretty bearish. So using this as an example, you can go here. This is the exact kind of same setup, right? Big range formed, big breakout. You don't want to see a perfect retest. Perfect retests are pretty bearish. You got an extension, shallow pullback. There's your entry. Where's your take profit? Right into the next highs. I didn't get a perfect exit, but I exited towards the highs. How do you, it's just a range, right? So those are just words that I'm using. This doesn't mean anything. Premium just means you're trading at an excess. It means like relative to where price has been range bound, you're trading either at a discount or at a premium, right? So if this is your range, you could even use Hyperliquid, right? Like price chopping around between 2 points. It's just chopping around between 2 points. The higher end is going to be a premium. You're just paying extra for the same coin. And the lower range is going to be a discount, right? Where do you want to do business? You want to do business in a discount. You don't want to do it in a premium. That's just the essential kind of thesis or theory behind trading ranges. You can apply the same concept to VWAPs too, right? VWAPs look the same way. Let's open up a VWAP scan. Let's do the quarterly. All right, where do you want to do business? You want to do business at a discount. You don't want to do business at a premium. Same concept on VWAP, same concept on ranges. VVV. Jesus Christ, man. I mean, just wait for it to go sideways for a very long amount of time if you want to buy this. Same thing. Just, you know, this is your trend. Hopefully you form kind of a range and you go sideways for a long amount of time. Some high time frame EMAs form. It's not even enough time for the daily trend to form yet because there's not enough price action. You flip the daily trend, you start using it as support. This is now new bullish market structure. This is your invalidation. Or even if you get a range breakout and you get a pullback, you don't want to drop back into the range. It's going to take a while. It's going to take a while for anything bullish on this chart to form. It's going to take like a long time. Trump coin. I'm surprised no one's no one on CT is in this coin. That's why. Oh, Jesus. Hold on. I need more price history. Is that it? How do I get more price history? Guys, which exchange has the most Trump price history? I mean, it's the same thing, Sam. So it's the same thing on Trump as any other coin, man. We need this to go sideways for a long time. Let's make a hypothetical, because I don't really have any levels. I know this traded below here, so let's make a hypothetical. Let's say that today was the bottom, right? Trump bottom today, and this is the Pico bottom. So now you basically want to see, where did this momentum initiate from? There's a little bit of crab, so let's use this and say this was a range. This momentum initiated from this point. This is the last up move before it basically fell to shit, right? It ranged, last up move, fell apart. This is your range high, this is your range low. Pumps into this region are for taking profit or selling or shorting. Deviation like this, probably for shorting. Comes back down to range lows, probably makes a weaker pump, probably does this. Eventually it'll break market structure and make a higher high. From here, you want it to make a higher low. From here, you want it to break out of the range. From the range breakout, you want to see any type of trend form, right? That's high time frame. Maybe the daily trend comes in here, holds the daily trend, makes a new higher low outside of value, and then you can mark up. This concept is applicable to every single coin in the market. It's not just Trump, right? I don't know why Trump would go back to $60 or $70. I'm pretty sure it shouldn't, and I would be upset if it did. I'd be vehemently upset if this coin went back to all-time highs. Oh, the coin is 2 weeks old. So it was 2 weeks old. It launched here and it just went straight down. I'm really sorry for you if you bought the launch and had no invalidation and held it all the way down. That's a learning moment for you. Don't do that. What are your thoughts on memes? Do you think they'll have another run? Select memes will, all memes will not. I don't think we'll have a generalized meme coin run like we did in 2024 again. I think that was probably the top of that meta as far as like millions of memes and cults everywhere and stuff like that. I think if you want to bet on memes, you have to bet on the established ones from here on out. Since starting learning trading, have you seen any technical approaches become less effective over time as they become more well-known? Yes. Simple answer, yes. Absolutely. People are always getting smarter. That's honestly why I try not to give away too much on public streams. When I was a lower follower guy, which I honestly preferred, I don't really enjoy particularly like having so many followers. It's a lot of noise now. But when I had less viewers, I could talk about more things, right? Because there's not that many people watching. Now, more and more people watch, the more they learn, the more they start doing the things that I do, the less effective they're going to become, right? So that's why I try not to give away too much in public streams anymore. Thoughts on DFK? I love that. I still can't believe this thing had like a 10x randomly last year. End of 2023, this thing just like marked up like 10x out of nowhere. Oh, it wasn't even a 10x, but still 7x. Good coin, man. Fantastic coin. Definitely accumulate this. Definitely buy this. It's going to be a top 10 coin, and yeah. Yeah, Sam, we need to do spaces, man. We stopped doing spaces. Got to get back on the spaces thing. Albert asked about Toncoin 300 times, dude. It almost makes me not want to answer because you've spammed chat asking about it 400 times. What do you think, chat? Should I look at Toncoin because he asked 400 times, or should I ignore it? We'll let chat decide. Well, what are the most established memes? Yeah, Pepe, Doge, Bonk, I guess FARTCOIN. Chat has spoken. Chat has spoken. ONDO's recovery has been exceptional. This is a coin that I've been personally shocked with so much. Unbelievable. Unbelievable on ONDO. Just being a giga Chad holding the weekly trend. I've been super patient to reallocate to ONDO. I haven't had ONDO in a long time because I want to see the same thing. I just want to see sideways. I want to see an accumulation. The same thing I told you guys about any other coin is what I want to see on ONDO. I just want to see sideways. I want to see an accumulation range form. And I want to see it accept over this prior all-time high. Right? Why have I not been wanting to allocate? Because it's getting rejected at all-time highs every single time. Every single time it pops back above here, it gets rejected and rejected and rejected. So that's a, excuse me, that's a signal to me to be very careful, right? So the longer and longer and longer and longer and longer it goes sideways, the more and more and more likely it's going to start trending up again. I'm still bag holding WIF. Do you have a recommendation of where to sell? This is, I had a WIF plan that I shared a couple weeks ago that I was like, this would be the last region. It's not even this. This is where I moved it to. It was here. This is where WIF should have held. And I had a decent reaction, but yeah, this is, this is where you action, right? You action range lows. You hope for the best. Things don't work out. You take that signal and you're wrong. And you don't take that much of a loss. You had several moments to de-risk. So let's say, for example, you're up here and it's holding the daily, right? The daily trend is lost. Market structure is lost. You know it's going to gap down to the weekly, right? You're hoping for weekly reaccumulation. It loses the weekly, another invalid. So you have invalidation number 1, invalidation number 2, right? Then it trades down to range lows, right? Invalidation number 3. Why are you bag holding this all the way down when the market's giving you so many exits? USA is going to start buying Bitcoin as strategic reserve. You might need to front run it by buying WIF and Popcat. Listen, man, we're all going to do it. Wiz, you're going to do it too. If the market starts trending up again, it doesn't matter what fucking shitcoin they throw in our face. If that shitcoin looks good, we're going to be buying it. That is how this game goes. Copy trade, block raise, capitulation at $2. Bro, the thing about block raise is he was in from like a penny or something, or maybe even less. The guy was in from like day one. It didn't matter if he sold at 5 or 4 or 3 or 2 or 1. He made life-changing money. Okay, Pepe. haven't talked about Pepe. I actually talked about it earlier in the stream. So yeah, this is where I rebought Pepe after selling. So it's the same thing on every chart, right? Daily trend loss, I rebuy the weekly. Pointer breakdown from the last all-time high push, confluence with weekly trend. This is a rebuy for me. We lose 15, that's a cut, right? Now, what does Pepe need? I've gone over this 5 times this stream. What does it need? It needs sideways. It needs reclaims. It needs fresh bullish market structure. It needs an uptrend. It's going to either do one of two things, right? It's either going to do this, while these come down, while this flattens out, right? It's either going to do that, or by some grace of God, it's going to do this. And if it does this, you'll still get a pullback, probably. Maybe not a perfect retest because it'll be so strong, but you'll get some kind of price to trade. You get some kind of pullback. This is probably very unlikely. This is probably more likely. There's always guys who is jealous and negative, especially today when the market is fucked. Everyone is fucked right now. Let the market decide how they should behave. Look, man, here. I'll be nice. I'll look at Ton. I just thought it was funny that you asked like 45 times. Is there more price history to this, or is this the full history? Ah, there we go. On a weekly chart basis, I would be bullish on Ton here, or if you take out this high that led to the low, which would be a weekly market structure break, and you got to pull back. With that being your invalidation. Otherwise, what is it going to do? Probably range. What's the most bearish scenario? Weekly trends continue holding as resistance and it keeps coming lower. Comes up, rejects the weekly, loses. That's just a bearish retest. Comes down, all the way down to here again. Comes up, tags the weekly, does this, bounces up, tags the weekly, loses this as support, trades. Like, these are the things that can happen. What do you want to see if you're a Ton bull, right? Same thing as every other chart. Just wait for it to go sideways for a long amount of time, right? Wait for it to go sideways. Wait for weekly trends to come down. Wait for fresh bullish market structure. Wait for new weekly trends to come up. This is the healthiest approach. Looks like Pepe. Yeah, it does. Looks heavy. One could speculate it weighs close to 1,000 kilograms. Let's go back to Bitcoin. It's so funny how Bitcoin just looks totally fine and the rest of the market is at zero. This Bitcoin just looks totally fine. Like on a high time frame, just trading down to the weekly, trade down to range low. So simple, so clean. but we've had a full like industry capitulation in altcoins. Thank you, but not every chart move like that. Well, then why are you asking my opinion? You asked for my opinion 40 times. I gave you my opinion, and now you're not happy with my opinion. Brother. Would you chart a $50 million market cap coin the same way as 500? No. If a coin doesn't have perps, you want to be more support resistance level approach. If a coin has perps, you want to be a little bit more liquidations focused. You want to add a little bit more. You want to trade it a little bit differently. If a coin doesn't have perps, it's a little bit easier to trade. In my opinion, the last 24 hours is a real testament to how degenerate and desperate people are. Yeah, that was the tough thing. I think I tweeted out something before this all fell apart, something here. I was like, the desperation is just palpable, right? That was the tough part. It's just desperation because people are like, oh my God, if it drops, if we do this, if we do that, my coins are going to zero. It's like, that's just like, please God, please don't let it drop. Please go up. Please Bitcoin, right? It's too much desperation. How do you think Tau is looking? All right, a couple more coins, and we're gonna call it a stream. Same as everything else, I suppose. Same as like 90% of the market. Not great. Here's the key. We're going to leave it here. There's two things the market needs to do, right? So everything, let's just assume everything was doing one of these, right? Everything did this. Either the market or either your altcoins have to reaccumulate lower, like I've said, or they have to reclaim, take out the point of breakdown, pull back, and reaccept in this range. One of two things. Good coins have more likelihood to do this. Bad coins are going to do this. Terrible coins are going to do this. Which coins are going to do what? Very hard to predict. It's going to be just basically what people like and where they want to allocate to. They want to allocate to ONDO, like probably one of the best examples of a coin that's just looking like it wants to reclaim. Like that's what it wants to do. This is the value that it's been trading in. It's already right back where it was, right? It's like nothing even happened to ONDO. It was trading here a couple days ago. It's trading here again. Nothing even happened. Where is it going to get super bullish, in my opinion? Holding above prior all-time highs. That opens up the possibility for here. Some other coins we talked about, like PEPE, it has a lot of work to do, man. A lot of work to do. It could be bottomed, right? It could be bottomed, but even then, like, let's look at an example from here. This is the last time it broke down, right? Here's your support, here's your breakdown, pull back, come up, excuse me. Reclaim, take out the point of breakdown. Build another composite value, flip the daily trends bullish, reclaim the weekly trend, sweep into daily breaker. You still have opportunity to get in on this. Invalidation on high time frame, invalidation on low time frame. This is what a reclaim would look like on coins that are strong, right? Coins that are not strong have to go the other route, and they're going to have to reaccumulate. Oh yeah, OM. OM is just, it's something different. OM is just, it's different, man. This coin just different. So it's clean, right? Broke above all-time high, held the 4-hour trend, really clean invalidation. If you lose a 4-hour trend, you're probably going to dump because this is range high, right? You deviate above range high, you lose a 4-hour trend, you're probably going to drop all the way down again, right? It didn't do that. It held the 4-hour trend, right? It even gave you a sweep down here. By the way, I didn't trade this, so this is all hindsight. This is not, like, I'm not going to LARP and be like, oh, I took this trade, right? I'm not doing any of that. Markup, lost the 4-hour trend. Where does it capitulate to? Back at range highs, back into the daily trend. Amazing. I didn't trade any of this. Seriously, what happened to having a good time in a bull market? I mean, I think it's just been tough. People have been getting their ass cheeks clapped, dude. They've been trying. They're trying their best, but they're getting clapped. Look at this daily candle on Bitcoin. Unbelievable. It's like we just, nothing even happened. Nothing even happened to Bitcoin. Market went to zero. Nothing even happened to Bitcoin. Really hope PEPE closes today. Yeah. We're going to have some fun. That was our capitulation moment. So whether this happens or this happens, we know what we have to do. We don't know which one's going to happen. We don't know if this is going to happen, and we don't know if this is going to happen. But we know how we're going to action it either way. Insert Donald. Yeah, dude. I love when people do that. Why are you guys crying? Bitcoin looks fine. James, weekly trend tags. Weekly trend tags. All right, should we call the stream there? A couple more minutes, I'll hang out. I'm getting kind of tired of looking at charts. 2 hours is usually when I mentally tap out. 2 hours streaming. I barely slept last night too, guys. I was up trading Bitcoin till 3 in the morning. Woke up around 6:30. I'm running low on sleep too. I had one of the most fun days trading in a long time. Doodles from last stream. Take a look at others in total 3. Very nice. Very, very nice. Let's hope that was it. Let's hope the bull market is back. Chaos, I said the same thing. There's the Tau and all these other, they're all the same thing. I'm giving you, instead of telling you exactly what each chart is, I'm giving you the tools to think for yourself. I think that's way more important. I'm giving you the blueprint and the tools of what needs to happen exactly on each coin and each chart. They're all the same. The concepts are all the same. It's just all that matters. All that's different is the levels, right? So I'm going to leave it here. And I'm going to let you tell me what I've said for the last 2 hours. You've been exploring Florida? Not so much yet, but like, here's the thing. I lived here before, right? So it's not new to me. I went to, yeah, who cares? I went to IMG for tennis when I was a kid. So I lived in Florida for a long time when I was a kid. Traveled all up and down for tournaments and stuff like that. Been everywhere, pretty much seen everything. So it's not new to me. Needs to build a range or reclaim the downtrend. There you go. Vital's got it for you. So this is bearish market structure. Right? How do you flip back to bullish? Take out the high that led to the low. That's your reclaim. Here's your speculative higher low action. Can't trade below here. I know that's a wide invalidation. You're going to have to tighten it up on lower time frames when it comes, if and when it comes. Or it forms a new accumulation here. These trends come down. You flip these trends. Now you have two confluences. You have price action reclaim and trend reclaim. I don't know which one of the two is going to happen. All I know is how I'll respond when I see what I like. If I like that coin and want exposure to it. Bitcoin 100K. Oh, I'm feeling a little bit of like the natural thing of what if I didn't take 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 trades low time frame? What if I just market longed and fucking held? All hindsight bullshit. I took I don't know how many trades I took the last 12 hours on Bitcoin. I took so many. This morning, I got a perfect. So the plan in Paragon this morning was if we expand above 95, I'm looking to play it until 97, 98. That was like the outlook plan this morning. 95, key level, hold above, trade above, big expansion, TP into this. Have not traded any of this. Same thing down here. Weekly trend, liquidations, big impulse, TP, weekly trend again, higher low, low, higher low, TP, 95. Wake up this morning, boom, trade again. ETH is reaccepting in a range. All right, last thing we'll do is ETH, and then I'm heading out. This is the point of breakdown on ETH, right? This is the key. This is the key for ETH. Is it going to, if it yeets right through this, bullish as fuck. Because then you could play the next like higher low. And your invalidation is simple. Just don't drop below here. Insane. I'm so happy that we had Cascade, man. There's so much more fun to trade than this. I was saying yesterday, I think, I was like, fuck this bleed, bro. I don't even know how I said it. Like, bleed is low T. Bring back the Chad capitulation candles. And I think a few hours later, we got the capitulation candles. So it's like, fuck yeah, here we go. In my opinion, these are so much easier to trade than this. This is just... like, get it over with. Rip off the fucking Band-Aid. All right, guys. I'm going to call the stream there. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. I'll see you next week on Monday. I hope you guys all have a good one. Take care. Bye-bye. I'll see you in the next one.